you cool cats and kittens. Welcome to a very special edition of Grown Ass Women TV. Oh yes, thanks for asking. That is a hashtag, hashtag GAW TV. Please use that hashtag when discussing our fabulous show on social media. And we are so excited about tonight's fabulous premiere episode. But before we get into the fun, do us a favor and like this video.
Boom, boom, boom.
Subscribe to our channel. That's probably the most important. Thank you for that. And our favorite part, click that bell icon.
That's right.
To enable notifications so you never miss an episode of GAW TV like this one and like all of the great ones we have planned for the rest of the year. So excited.
Oh, and also huge shout out to our Patreon subscribers. Holla at your girls. We love you so much. Thank you for supporting us on all the levels. As you know, you get all the full unedited versions of our show first and foremost. So we appreciate you. And there's so many like little perks in there. There's calls and all the things. So stay posted, stay on there so you can always get all the fun stuff from us here.
Yeah.
Exciting. And guess what, guys?
What?
WrestleMania is coming up and WrestleCon.
Yeah.
You can see all three of us girls together, reunited again, trouble time. And we were going to have like in the description, how to get pictures, combos, you name it, all down below, you guys. It's going to be such a fun time. WrestleMania is going to happen. We're so excited. I can't wait to see you girls.
I know.
I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like a little kid oh my God, I'm going on spring break with my girls.
Yeah.
No. I was like, when we were looking at the Airbnbs, I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so fun to film all kind of like exclusive content, but also just to hang out and just chill out and chillax with you ladies in the in-between times. I know it's going to be crazy busy because we're obviously going to be signing. I know Impact has a show. You're doing the shenanigans party, Val. There's all kinds of things with Fight TV, all the million things, but plus we're planning WrestleMania and it's going to be amazing. So all those details are even coming some more. So exciting news about that. Make sure you're following our socials for all the fun stuff. I'm very excited, you guys.
Fun stuff.
I feel like leading up to WrestleMania weekend, WrestleCon weekend, and let's call it WrestleMania weekend, ladies and gentlemen. And
oh yeah.
Look out, Dallas. By the way, I got my cowboy boots ordered. I'm going to do it up huge.
Which I need to order a cowboy hat from Mickie's GAW.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Like a rhinestone cowgirl. I had to explain to Alan what spurs were the other day. I was like, they're like little, like a pizza cutter. Like, he's like, what?
Pizza cutter.
Can I tell you about spurs? I thought I was cute in high school. Dressed up like a cowboy. I even bought real spurs. Okay, this is me because I'm like sophomore, so I'm not a senior yet. You know, I'm walking down the stairs with my spurs on stairs. Mickie, can you vouch for this? My spurs got caught. I rolled all the way down.
Who wears spurs in real life? That's the most hilarious thing I've ever heard.
I was dressed like a cowgirl.
Wears spurs, but usually because it's like he's riding horses all day. Like, so I don't use spurs. I don't use spurs on my horses. So
just for the costume. That's it. Right. I don't. Yeah. You do English style. We know this.
I know.
Yeah, because you're fancy like that.
What's up, girls?
Proper.
I will ride Western when I need to, but even when I ride Western, I don't use spurs. I don't need them.
Yeah.
You don't.
I'm in tune with the horse. I'm in tune with the animal.
Yes. And this is the perfect episode to be in tune with the animals. We'll get to that in a moment. But I will say that the lead up to the Dallas weekend it seems like every single couple of days, there's new announcements about more events that we're doing and different things that we have going on. And as Mickie said, if you've ever seen us all together, careful what you wish for. It gets hilarious and wild. And if we want to know more about that, you can watch the Miami Mischief episode. This is like wild, because that was the last time we were all together. But this is like a whole week in Dallas of fun and frivolity. It's going to be so much fun. So any more appearances that you guys will be doing?
What's your appearance, Val? What's your appearance?
Well, thank you for letting me go first. I was trying to be polite. It is Acme Comic Con in Glasgow, Scotland. It is the first weekend in March 5th and 6th. One of my favorite places. It's just a really fun town. So if you're in the UK, if you're in the Scotland area, come see me. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of amazing comic book artists are going to be there. Big artist alley. It's a lot of fun. And of course, you've been seeing me post about it on social media. But you ladies are so busy in the upcoming months. Tell us what you're going to be up to as well.
Mickie, would you like to go next, baby?
Well, obviously I just came out of No Surrender pay-per-view. Victorious still, my ladies.
Yeah, of course.
In
Come
the
on.
house.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
Shocker.
We had no doubt.
Tasha Steele's, cheers to you. She's a badass, but
She is.
still the
We're really entertained.
Yeah, no, I have so much going up. You can go to mickiejames.com and you can find out everything I'm doing from WrestleCon. I'm going to the UK soon in Liverpool. I'll see you all there.
I love wrestling.
Yes, for the love of wrestling.
Fun.
April, that's going to be so much fun, you guys.
I know.
After WrestleCon, I'm coming out to the UK. We're all coming out to the UK and doing it for the UK as well. It's going to be so great. And it's the first time we've actually been back in years. So Nick has been very homesick. So we're very excited to venture back to the UK across the pond.
I can't.
But I have so much stuff between Impact Wrestling. The Crockett Cup is around the corner with NWA. Child Help. I've been doing a lot of stuff. I just came out of the gala with them and they raised $5 million. We talked about
I know.
$5 million in one night, all for children of child abuse and neglect. And it was just incredible. It was just an incredible night. Mega stars were there. It was so fun. It was so fun. It was so amazing to be a part of. But yeah, so they have an event coming to Nashville. So I just spoke to them about trying to help put that together. The Day of Hope with Sawyer Brown. So there's tons of stuff coming. Tons of stuff happening.
Woo!
It never stops.
Hopefully, if something happens in Nashville, Val, you and I might have to make a trip. You might have to stay in the U.S. a little longer.
Well, listen, my cowboy boots will make total sense there as well. So
Yes.
I'm always
Oh
thinking.
my goodness.
Texas
Oh.
and Nashville. That's all you need.
That's it.
Um,
That's all you need. All you need. I
Yeah.
have a ton of appearances in March, almost booked every single weekend. My first appearance, the first weekend is Red Stick Wrestling in Baton Rouge. And I already have my pre-sales for my combos and my 8x10s and stuff like that. So check it out. Follow me on Instagram. All the information is there. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but we are just all over the place, girls.
We're global, y'all.
You know
We are
what? God global.
Phenomenon. A gobble for no, that doesn't work.
We're
Global.
global.
Global
In the chat room, you guys help us out. Global? Does that make any sense? Listen, we're earning those miles.
We
We
are.
are earning those miles. Have you heard my turkey call? Have you heard my gobble?
Well, now we have to.
Give me here.
Lisa, yours.
I have.
What?
Do it.
I can't. I don't want everybody to see my face because I have to do a weird thing with my tongue, and it's just.
Well, do it like this.
Why didn't we hear this on the Thanksgiving episode? That's shocking. Me like Mike.
It's a weird-
Am I doing it?
Oh, that's not it, no. No.
No, Val.
It's like
A
when I
draft
watched
turkey.
Homicide. Remember Homicide used to go he used to do this noise. And I was like, am I doing it? Brrrrat, brrrrat. He's like, Val, just
Do
don't."
not.
Oh, and it's
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I did. Brrrrat.
No.
That's good.
It's pretty good. I
It's
like-
good for Val. Yeah, come on, we'll give it. We'll give
Good
it
for
to Val.
Val. Get a load of that, ladies and
I'm
gentlemen.
sorry, that was so demeaning. I didn't mean it like that.
Hashtag good for Val. Love it so much. No, but yeah, a lot of information is going to be on our socials because I'm coming back to the US. And then, of course, the girls are coming to Liverpool. Also, Lisa and I, pre-sales are available for that too. And pre-sales for WrestleCon. We'll put everything down in the description. Lisa, you and I are going to be in beautiful
Icons of Wrestling. Icons of Wrestling in Philly.
the day before my birthday. Bring gummy bears and we're square, everybody.
Gummy bears
Maybe
and
some wine.
Yeah.
And wine. I was like, gummy bear.
We also have just kidding. Just kidding. No, there's a lot going on, but I have to say, you might be wondering why we're all in this beautiful leopard print, and I'll tell you about it right now. We have a guest that we are so beyond excited about. Marking out, I cannot believe she agreed because I was like, listen, this is a big deal. This is a big deal. It's one of our favorites, one of our television favorites. And Mickie, do you want to do the honors?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think that, obviously, clearly we went all out here to kind of get you, if we haven't ruined the surprise at all. I mean, I know I kind of had no idea who this woman was before, obviously, the success of the Netflix series Tiger King. And, I think that we as grown-ass women, what we do, we have a chance to lift up another woman who's doing incredible things. You know, regardless of your opinion about the show or whatever, I think that the biggest thing that we love to do is bring awareness and an open platform to have those real legit conversations about the reality of all things. And we're so honored. I couldn't believe that she agreed to come on the show. This is like one of our biggest guests yet. And we're so excited. And so please welcome the one and only Miss Carole Baskin to the show.
Woo!
Woo! Meow, meow, meow.
Meow, meow, meow.
Oh my God, you look beautiful.
Oh, you guys really outdid yourselves. I love
We're
it.
really trying to do it for you. We're a very special guest. We're really honored to have you on the show. You might be our biggest guest yet, I'll be honest.
Yes.
And so we had to do it special for you because we obviously, welcome to the show. This is GAW TV, Grown Ass Women Television, and we like to highlight grown ass women all over the world. And you are amazing, and we're so excited to have our fans get to know you even more and all the things you're doing. But Miss Carole Baskin, thank you so much for coming on. Cheers to you.
Cheers to Miss Carole Baskin.
Exactly.
One of the first questions that we love to ask our guests on the show is who you wearing, what you drinking. Obviously, you see we are all in theme, so
We had to, in your honor.
In your honor. I'm just drinking a little Monster sugar-free Red Bull in a fancy glass and wearing my cat onesie and a crown, my flower crown just for you. Cheers, lady.
Yes. How about you, Miss Carole? What are you imbibing on, and what are you wearing today? Who are you wearing? You look fabulous.
Well, thank you. I just finished a cup of coffee and now I've got a glass of water. And my daughter this year, for all of our staff members, gave us these matching pajamas. So I'm wearing our matching pajamas and a flower crown that was made by one of our staff, Deb Quimby.
Oh, wow.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Lisa, I got to say, before we started recording, Carole said you went all out, and you did. Leopard glasses, leopard outfit, and a flower crown. Tell us about that.
Oh yeah. I went big. I couldn't find my turtleneck one, but I'm wearing my bathing suit underneath my pants. I was like, where's my leopard top? And then, you know, my favorite glasses I always wear, and I did the flower crown specifically for you. I am inviting, I guess I'm the only one probably drinking wine this early in the day, I guess. I'm drinking out of my Drunk Elephant mug that was sent to me.
Oh.
Thanks, Drunk Elephant. Thank you. And I'm drinking 14 hands. You guys would be proud of me. You know how frugal I am on what I spend my money on. This was actually $9.99, little out of my price range.
Oh,
Yes, because I'm a classy broad.
she's saving the best for Miss Carole Baskin's episode. Well, again, we're so happy to have you. I was so thrilled because I love leopard print. I think it matches everything. I treat it like a neutral. So this is one of my favorite dresses, little going out numbers from one of my favorite companies called Nasty Gal. I'm also doing what Mickey's doing. I've got a Red Bull with some very classy Crystal Light Berry Sangria flavoring. So it looks like I'm imbibing, but I'm really not, as I've got to be up early. So yes, but we're just so happy to have you. Listen, we are all fans of Tiger King, but as Mickey said, we were so happy to have you because we're all about female empowerment. And first question from me, we are going to let you guys know here, all watching on YouTube. By the way, hello to the live chat room on YouTube. Thank you guys for being here for this fabulous episode. But everyone that wants to donate to Big Cat Rescue, we're going to put all of the information in the links in our description. And of course, you can go to bigcatrescue.org/donate so you can be a part of a wonderful thing that Carole Baskin is doing. But Carole, tell us about Big Cat Rescue, a typical day. And I've got to tell you, I'd love to visit one day. I'm a huge fan, so I got to go.
Well, I think you guys have really set the bar here. I mean, you're going to have to really knock it out of the park for all of your guests going forward, because you can't let this be the last time. That was amazing on your behalf. Thank you. I feel so honored.
Oh.
You know, when people ask me what a typical day is at Big Cat Rescue, my favorite part about Big Cat Rescue is there are no typical days. So every day is an absolute surprise. And sometimes it can be a really scary surprise. And sometimes it's a heartwarming surprise. So just a couple days ago, I got a call. I had my day all planned out of everything I was going to do, all of the mundane catching up kind of things that needed to be done. And I got a call from a woman who said that there was a bobcat with an injured paw that was in a trap at her house, and she wanted me to come get it out of the trap. And then she tells me that her husband shot the cat because it had killed their chickens. And so we went out there and found this poor thing that had been hit by a car probably a year ago, and the arm had healed wrong, so the cat couldn't hunt anymore, and that's why it was going after domestic fowl.
Right.
And then when it did that, they were trying to rescue their chicken and shot the cat, so now it had a bullet hole in it, and so we had to call the vet in, and
Wow.
she's currently in rehab, and hopefully we'll be able to get her all fixed up and back out to the wild. So that's the best thing that happens for me, is when we can put these cats back in the wild.
Right.
It's amazing that this cat survived. It's like, it's a lot like you, being a strong and empowering woman that keeps on coming back and stuff like that. It breaks my heart when I hear my friends like want to be in the rescuing the animals. They don't see the peppy, happy animal all the time. So careful what you wish for, but it's so rewarding. And I'm just so proud. We all have like something in common, being a female in a male dominated business, and being such an activist of animals. I follow so many animal rescues. That's mostly my IG followers and what I'm following. And I'm just so proud and honored to have you on the show.
Well, thank you. The bobcat turned out to be a female, and we named her Val because it was the day before Valentine's Day, not because of you, Valerie.
I'm going to pretend it was because of me. So if I come visit, I got to see Val. That's amazing. But you're right, Lisa. Like, I find it interesting that a lot of the famous kind of animal activists, your Steve Irwins and names like that, there's not a void of females, but I think it's cool that, we're such female empowerment type gals and feminists, that to see you on Tiger King, we're like, this lady's doing it for herself. And, you've got such a great following as well. But do you find it kind of hard that you're in sort of a male dominated industry?
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because the Conservation Game film is about to come out on YouTube. Hopefully, we hope that we have this ready to launch very shortly. And it is a film that shows how it is that all of these male faux conservationists, like you mentioned, Steve Irwin and Jack Hanna and Boone Smith and Grant Kimmerer and all of these guys that go on to these late night shows bringing cubs on TV, are the reason that we have this huge problem in America where people are paying to pet cubs, and then when those cubs are 4 months old, 3 months old, then they're being discarded as not being profitable anymore. So they go into private hands, and then they end up in need of rescue a year later when they're 200 or 300 pounds. So what you'll find is that whole industry was caused by a bunch of men, and it was, pretty much everybody in the industry were men that were continuing to do the tiger mills and the cub petting and that sort of thing. There were a few women, but it was mostly a male dominant industry, because I think they don't have that natural nurturing feeling toward the cubs. These were just a product to them. They weren't babies, which they were to their mothers. And
Right.
so it's the women who have come out against that. And so you'll find almost all of the sanctuaries for big cats are run by women. And
Right.
it's just the very opposite of all of these zoos that are run by men.
Right. That's wild. I guess I never really even realized what an industry it was. And I guess that's probably the blessing of Tiger King in the senses, because it did bring a lot of eyes on to what was happening. Just like, remember that show Blackfin, which was about the whales and stuff, which I had no clue about that. So I do appreciate those kind of documentary pieces, because they do shine a light on what is really happening out there. And it was a real big eye opener for me, because I hadn't even really heard of Big Cat Rescue, I think, until that show. And so, I think what you're doing is amazing. I think the work is amazing. I'm sure it's hard, and it never stops and it never ends. What I think is really fascinating is how authentic you always are, and that's really how you've built your core audience and your core following, is through the stuff that you've done on YouTube and all that stuff, of like that diary kind of style, to let people in more of an authentic version of what your life is. And I think that takes a lot of strength to be able to do that. So that's really cool.
I think it's important to be transparent. And no matter, I mean, I have my flaws. Oh my God. I mean, I have a communication skill that just makes people crazy. They hate it. And it's because I laugh so much when I talk. And I really work on, there I go again. I really work on not doing it. I can't stop it, but I'm difficult to listen to. And yet people still manage to to put that aside and try to go to the actual message that we're getting out there, because they do see that we are putting everything out there for people to see, all of our blemishes and everything else, and then they can decide what they want to believe.
Right.
Right. And that's challenging with social media. We ask a lot of our guests, and they're from different genres, whether it be wrestling or entertainment or they're singers. And, you know, we always ask them, and a great question for you, is social media helpful or harmful? And how did it change for you after the success of Tiger King? I'm sure you probably had a lot of negativity, but then I feel like you've also probably gotten a lot of fans that have been with you since the beginning, you know, since your diary entries and things like that. So how did it change after Tiger King? Was it better, worse, same?
Yeah, it would be really interesting to people, I think, to see that it didn't change that much as far as our social media presence. I think so many people thought, since they had never heard of us before, and then they heard of us after Tiger King, that must have really launched our YouTube channel and our Facebook channel and that sort of thing. But prior to Tiger King, we had something to the tune of like 1.2 million fans on, or I'm sorry, 1.2 million subscribers on YouTube, and now it's 1.37. So, you know, it's not a huge jump. Right. And same thing with Facebook. We had, I think, 3.4 or 3.5 million followers on Facebook, and now we have 3.7. So Tiger King was not a big increase for us in social media, but social media is huge for us. That's where we get most of the donations and support, and people calling their member of Congress is through us being able to reach out to those huge communities.
Right.
Yeah. God bless social media. It's a business as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, I watched like a lot of like your interviews, and found it very shocking that you weren't, they didn't show you like the product of what it was going to be like. Kind of pissed me off a little bit. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm very blunt, and I'm just sorry. Like, you know, if I insult,
welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Yeah. I haven't said the F word yet. The show's still going. Yeah, but it's just, it's crazy that they have this new this new show coming out, and they didn't even reach out to you to ask your opinion. And there's an actress playing you, and you're you. How does someone research
you? Who knows you more than
by
you?
social media?
Yeah.
Perception is reality. You put out there what you want to be known sometimes, but it was very shocking, and I was very disappointed. You know?
Mickie pointed out earlier, Blackfish was such a huge change for people in the way that they thought about captive orcas. And so for 5 years, we worked with the producers of Tiger King on what they said was going to be the Blackfish for big cats.
Right.
And it wasn't. That is not what people got. They got entertainment, but they didn't get educated much. And the bit of education that people thought they got from it was mostly wrong, but at least that it did raise awareness that there is this problem, because nobody even knew there was a problem before. And when I would go to Congress and say, we have this huge problem with hundreds of cubs being dumped into private hands and then ending up in the illegal trade, they were like, no, we don't. This is America. That can't be. Now they've seen that that really does happen. But as far as the Kate McKinnon piece goes, we had participated with, and we've always been very open with these people that are doing productions. And so Robert Moore had done a podcast for Wondery that came out in August of 2019. So it was about 6 months or so before Tiger King came out. And in that Wondery podcast, he went kind of down the same path that Tiger King did. But then at the end, he said, but here's the truth about the matter. All these things Joe said were lies. All this stuff he said about Carole were lies. And Carole's been trying to save these cats from people like Joe and all these other animal abusers. And so he set the record straight at the end, which Tiger King never did. But they kind of did in season 2, but nobody watched season 2. So nobody knows that Homeland Security has a document saying my husband is alive and well in Costa Rica, because nobody watched Tiger King 2. So when Wondery came to me after the podcast was so successful, they said, we'd really like to do a show about your life and we'd like for you to sign away your life's rights to us. And I said, I'm not done yet. Talk to me after I get our federal bill passed and we save the tiger from extinction, and then maybe we can talk. And they were like, nope, this is hot now. We're going to do it now.
Right.
And so that turned out to be the Kate McKinnon piece. But the good news is it's based on the Wondery podcast, which actually told the truth in the end. So I'm hoping that her piece will do the same.
Yeah.
I hope so. I'm a huge Kate McKinnon SNL fan, and I was so excited to see it. And I think, with a great question from Lisa about, how people perceive through social media. And I think with the good comes the bad, and with the bad comes the good. Like Mickie said, she wasn't aware of what was going on or of Big Cat Rescue, but now we all know, where to donate, where to put our money, where our loyalty should be lying. But just to clear the record, because listen, when we were talking about having you on the show, which we were so thrilled you were agreeing, we wanted to make sure that you knew that we were like, listen, this is a girly chat and we're here because we're fans of yours. But we've also done interviews for wrestling where what we call clickbait, they take one little thing out of context, or we leave an interview feeling like we've been taken advantage of. So whether it's Tiger King or whether it's the media or what's out there about you, what misconceptions do people have about you that you'd like to, put to rest?
Well, I think the biggest thing that people thought after seeing Tiger King was that I killed my husband, which is ridiculous. I didn't kill my husband. And Homeland Security says he's alive and well in Costa Rica. Homeland Security didn't even exist until 5 years after I last saw Don. So at least 5 years after that, they knew he was alive and well. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know how to overcome 64 million people coming away with the misconception that I'm a gold digging, home wrecking murderer. None of those things are true. But if people want to find out any differently, there's plenty of evidence on the internet that they can find. It's just, I don't think, after people started sharing all of those really cruel memes from 2020, it's hard for them to go back and say, oh, I was wrong. I was being so mean to this person that I had no right to be mean to.
Yeah. And the salacious stuff, unfortunately, is always what sells. And that's why they want the clickbait. And that's the horrible side of social media. And we totally get that. So that's why we're glad that we could have you on to just kind of go, listen, this is not one of those interviews. And we even being on YouTube, I think the girls will tell you, we've talked about it so many times, that some of these videos that are getting millions of views are, they're just negative. They're just mean. And that's really not what we ever wanted to be about. So I'm glad that you could trust us to be here. I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
Cheers
we're
to
very
that.
honored. Yeah.
I always find social media fascinating because I do, I love it because it's a great way to connect with your audience and to communicate with your fans. But people are so quick to pull. I've had the countless times I've had of an interview of 30 seconds of an interview clip pulled. Oh, Mickie says this one thing. And I'm like, wait, well, that's completely out of context. And I'm like, what was I even talking about right there at that moment for them to be able to pull that? It makes me crazy. It just makes me crazy. And people just
drives you crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have your guard up because when people reach out to you to interview, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not doing that one again. I'm not doing that again. I'm not going to do that again. It's like, that's not what I was talking about. And they're like, oh gosh, she bashes wrestling. I'm like, no, I just said it's very difficult for a woman to be in the wrestling business around 99% of men. I never buried the business. I really appreciate what I've done. And what we've seen and the people we get to meet and have on our show. And it's shameful.
It is.
It makes me mad. I'm gonna go down that. Yeah. Social
Careful,
media.
everybody.
Social media. It's a hit or miss for me.
Yeah.
I have a question. And this is probably I'm a big visualization kind of thing. What inspired you to go and start this foundation, and to what inspired this love of cats, of this specific thing that you have this passion for, in order to put so much of your time and energy? And obviously it was a passion project. It had to be a passion project at first in order to get to this place, to this organization as what it is and what you're doing. What was that? And do you feel like you've reached that goal, that end goal, or do you still have more that you want to do for, to I mean, obviously you want more awareness and obviously to keep rescuing lots more kitty cats, but you know, it's like, I think that it's massive what you have done. And I think it's really incredible to see. And I'm really big on like when people have these dreams and they envision, is this what you dreamed? Is this what you envisioned when you set out on this journey with Big Cat Rescue? That's a lot of big loaded question.
And I could talk for a long time on that, but I'll try to be brief. My goal from the time I was a child was to end the killing of healthy cats and kittens in shelters due to overpopulation. And it was a result of my own cat going to a shelter, and that's a whole long story, but I felt so bad about that I wanted to set that straight, and I wanted to fix that. And so as a result, and there were a lot of other factors, but I left home at the age of 15. I often worked 3 jobs at a time. I built my real estate business from the time that I was about 19 years old. And so I was constantly trying to sock away enough money to take care of that problem. And then when I was 17, I ended up rescuing the first bobcat that had been hit by a car. The vets can fix them up in 30 minutes or so, but then it can take months for them to be rehabbed and then able to be released while their bones heal or whatever. And so I did that, and I've done that since I was 17 years old. And let me tell you, there's nothing on this planet tougher than a bobcat. All these teams that are like tigers and eagles, and it's like, oh no, if you want to show you're tough, you should be wearing the bobcat logo, because they are just wicked. I love them for that. Little tiny 20-pound cat, but they will take on anything. So
I grew up in Virginia, and we have wild bobcats.
Oh Lord.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
And so when I was in my 30s, I ended up at a auction. We were buying llamas to turn them loose on big tracts of land because they clear about eye level. And they're really easy to keep pinned in. You know, a lot of animals, you have to put up all kinds of fencing. You could draw a line in the sand for a llama. And we're at this exotic animal auction, and the guy next to me starts bidding on a 6-month-old bobcat that this guy brings in because his wife doesn't want her anymore. And so I leaned over to the guy and I said, man, when that cat grows up, she's going to tear your face off. And he said he was a taxidermist, and he was just going to club her in the head in the parking lot and make a den decoration.
Are you kidding me?
What?
I kid you not.
What is wrong with people?
And then he would say that to me. Like,
Yeah, that he'd also
it wasn't shameful to him. I guess he figured anybody in that room was probably that kind of person. And so I started crying, and my husband started bidding, and we came home with this 6-month-old bobcat, and she was wretched, as you might expect. But because she was born in captivity, it wasn't legal to release her, and they had declawed her, so she wouldn't be able to hunt.
Ah!
Yeah. So my husband started calling around because she was terrorizing all of us. She was scaring our German Shepherd out of its mind. And he needed somebody that she could grow up with, that she wasn't going to kill. And so this guy said that he would sell us a mate for her, but we had to drive there in person. And this was in 1990. We got her in 1992. And in 1993, we drove to Minnesota, and it turned out to be a fur farm. And he had 56 bobcats and lynx. I didn't know people wore cats as fur, but we asked him what was going to happen to these cats. And he said when they got to be a year old, he was going to kill them for their fur. And so my husband said, how much for every cat here? And we came home with 56 bobcats and lynx. And then we rescued all of the adults the following year, which was 28 cats. And then the following year, there was another fur farm in the US, and we went in and bought out every cat that they had, with the agreement that they never kill cats again for their fur. So all of a sudden, people knew that we existed and started calling and saying, hey, would you take my lion? Would you take my tiger? And I'm like, well, what are these people doing with lions and tigers? And so I thought, well, this will be easy to fix, right? We'll just put these smaller cats in pet homes, because we've got Windsong as a pet. And that didn't work. About a year and a half later, they all started coming back. And with the bigger cats, we thought, well, surely we can rescue these cats, but we can change the laws so that people can't get their hands on lions and tigers. Right. So since 1998, we've been trying to enforce and enact a law that would stop that. We got a little bit of it done in 2003, and we've been trying to close the loopholes ever since. But I think this is the year, and that we actually will be able to pass the Big Cat Public Safety Act, which bans the cub petting. That's what drives all of breeding and discarding, and it phases out private ownership. So anybody who has a big cat can keep them. They just can't buy or breed more.
Wow.
Yay.
Yeah.
Bravo.
I think that's,
And cheers to your husband for being so freaking supportive and wanting to just rescue them all.
Yeah.
honestly, it's amazing. You guys both have that same passion. And I did not, and you were mentioning, I was watching one of your specials. It's like when people rescue these animals and then try to release them in the wild, they're already domesticated.
Yeah.
And then they release them and they're going to get killed. I just,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't-
not
I
even
don't-
legal.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's totally illegal to do that.
I think private ownership is one of those things too, of like, I think when people get super successful and they think it's the cool thing, like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm a tiger, so I can walk around with my tiger on a leash, but don't realize that they're wild animals. You know, I don't know that they should be. I say this, and I've always had this dream of owning a giraffe, which I'm not going to buy a giraffe. don't get me
She
wrong.
has told
It's
us
just
that many
this weird
times.
childhood dream I used to have that I owned a giraffe and it was out inside. I do a lot of, I do.
Same Larry.
It was, yeah, it's gonna be Larry. Yeah.
Where
And
is
it had
that?
special reins because it was out there with my horses. And, you know, obviously this is never gonna
Carol,
happen.
you would,
This
just
is
for the
like a
record, you
really
don't
cute
recommend that
photo.
she buys a giraffe, right? Like
I don't
you're
know why
not-
this came in the conversation.
They're really fragile.
Very dainty.
Carol says no, don't you?
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, I think just charity work is really a hard thing to do too, because you can get people to part with a cup of coffee for $5, but to even get them to donate $5 sometimes. I do work with Child Help, which is a rescue or a children's advocacy center. But I also have I have horses. So that was kind of my horses. And I'd see a lot of horse rescue. And you talk about the auctions and the kill pens and all of these things of, it's just heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And anyway, but it's like you do charity events like that. And I've done stuff with Child Help or like the 5 Too Many campaign and stuff like that. And it's really hard to get people to, if they pay attention and it feels sympathy for the stuff that's happening, but to even get them to donate, sometimes it's a difficult feat. So I appreciate what you guys are doing of raising awareness and raising money and to keep helping kitty cats everywhere.
Yes.
Exactly.
You're
And
amazing.
if you guys all in the chat room, go to that donate
Yes.
link.
BigCatRescue.org. All the information is here. And that's what we love about the show is we want to make sure that we're giving the platform to, philanthropy and encouraging charitable work. But Ms. Baskin, what would you say is needed in the community or on social media? Like what more can people be doing? Is it donations? Is it volunteering? If someone's like us that said, how do we get involved or how do we make a difference? What would you say to that?
First of all, please call me Carol. Miss Baskin sounds so
I can call you
formal,
Carol,
and this
that's
is not
amazing.
formal. On social media is where all of these mostly guys go to show off with their cat. And Mickie, you mentioned this a minute ago about how these people, when they're celebrities or when they're wealthy, they feel like they need to show off their wealth by having a tiger on a chain. I think it's more than showing off your wealth. I think what they're trying to show is their dominance, to show that they are superior to everything on this planet, including the most magnificent animals, the ones that we hold in the highest esteem. They're showing, I can put this animal on a chain. I control where this animal goes and what it does. And to them, that seems to give them some sense of power. They can only do that with them when they're babies. Once they're 3 to 5 years old and they grow up, that's when they get rid of them. Nobody ever keeps their pet tiger or their lion or any of their big cats because they become adults and then they can't deal with them. So I think that's what the underlying motive is, but they're very successful on social media by showing off, cuddling with the babies, rolling around on the ground with the lions, pretending they're part of the lion pride and that they're lion whisperers and all of that crap that people fall for on social media. And as long as people are liking that and sharing that, they're going to keep constantly breeding these cats, ripping their cubs away, using them until they can't use them anymore, and then killing or discarding them into the illegal black market. So what we can do is never give them a like, never give them a share, and that whole thing goes away.
Well said.
Very good.
Amen. Oh my gosh.
Doesn't cost you a thing.
Mhm.
Exactly. And I'm all like, I'm a big preacher on rescuing animals. So when I see someone with a full bred animal and I'm just like, you know how many animals, like how many dogs need a home? And I get really emotional. So I'm like, I'm a big rescue advocate. So it's just adopt, save a life and adopt. I'm always about, these are,
Stop, don't shop.
yeah, exactly.
Stop,
Yeah.
don't shop.
Save a life and rescue. And these are just dogs and cats. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, when I hear about these wild animals just being kept out of their norm,
Yeah.
just because they have the money to do it.
Yeah.
Ticks me off.
Just to
And the thing that should make all of us so angry is they are causing the extinction of these cats in the wild. And the reason that's happening is because all of these cats that they can't handle anymore end up being dumped into that black market, which just expands the demand. And if the people who can afford the premium product are going to buy something, they want the wild tiger. They want the fierce tiger that has survived in the wild. They don't want some inbred cage-raised tiger bones or tiger teeth or tiger amulets or anything else. They want the wild cat. And so as you increase the demand and the normalization of people having these things, the people who can really afford it are just sucking those cats out of the wild at a rate where we will lose them in the wild in the next 5 years. And that's why it's so important that we stop all of this cub petting and tiger walking on leashes and all of that and before we lose them entirely.
Absolutely.
Just madness.
Absolutely.
I'm going to break the tension with a really hilarious question. I want to talk about your amazing performances on Dancing with the Stars, because I got to tell you, so I live in England. My husband's British, and Strictly Come Dancing over here, it's like, I think it's almost bigger than Dancing. People love it. Like it's a thing people watch around the holidays. It's amazing. But you on Dancing with the Stars, I thought was so much fun. I felt like you just took it in such a lighthearted way. But how was the experience for you?
Yeah.
Never danced before because it was considered a sin in my family. So I didn't think there was any chance whatsoever that they were going to be able to teach me to dance. And I told them that, but they insisted that their pros were able to just sling me around out on the dance floor and it would look like I was dancing. And so I was entirely dependent on that happening. And even as amazing as Pasha Pashkov was, and he was an amazing instructor, I proved after 3 episodes that I just could not keep pace with the rest of those people who were truly athletes.
But the entertainment factor was there, and that's all we care about. It's like in wrestling. If someone's not as technically gifted, if I'm walking away entertained or still talking about it, you've won us over.
Yes, and having that courage to do that,
Yeah.
knowing that you can't dance and just doing that and then exposing yourself going, this is my weakness.
Yeah.
I think you're a grown ass woman and we're so proud of you, Carole.
We are. Yes, you mentioned being transparent and, always being up for a challenge and always willing to put yourself out there, whether it's your diary entries, whether it's Tiger King, whether it's Dancing with the Stars. That takes a lot of moxie. There's an old word, moxie. You got moxie, kid.
The costume creators for Dancing with the Stars were so timid when I first came in because, everybody had this horrible image of me being this really vicious bitch. I mean, that was like my middle name was bitch. And so when they were asking me about what they could do as far as costumes, they were like, so we don't want to offend you, but, would it be okay? And I was like, as long as there's no fur, feathers, or leathers, you guys just have a blast. I will wear whatever you create. And they said that I was the most fun that they ever dressed. So I really got a kick out of the things that they did because they were really creative.
Yeah. That's so fun.
Beautiful.
Oh,
You're
I love
beautiful.
that. I love the whole idea of getting dressed up and doing all that. I've always thought, oh, it'd be a dream to be on dance. I'm not a great dancer either, but it would still be it's such a great show. It's so fun. And I just have always thought like, oh, it'd be cool to learn how to do all of those dances. It's also allowing someone to take the lead, I think
Yes.
I want to lead for whatever reason every time. Even my husband, he's like, let me lead. I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. I think we're
No.
independent women that we're so in control of our life, and to let someone take control, you're just like, and you're so rigid, and you're just like, okay, hold on. Okay, go ahead. I wouldn't be able to do it either. I'll be honest with you. Too self-controlling. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Well, Carole, we have had so much fun with you here on Grown Ass Women TV. As Lisa just said, you are the epitome of a grown ass woman. But as we wrap up here, again, we want to mention to you guys again that you can donate on the links below right here on YouTube. And if you have any more information, you can go to bigcatrescue.org. But Carole, any final thoughts for everyone watching? I know you have a lot of fans that are just not only glad you're here, but surprised because we kept this one very secret until we had you on, because we thought, oh my gosh, everyone's going to flip out. It's going to be so much fun. But any final thoughts for our GAW TV fans watching?
Well, I hope everyone will go to cubtruth.com, and that website will have 3 videos that explain the plight of the tiger and what you can do to save the cat, whether you're in the US or not. That's probably the most important thing that people can do. And once they have that education, then they can reach out on social media and really slap down these people that are exploiting and abusing animals.
Spread the word, everybody. Spread the word.
With the smackdown on it. I had to make it a
Exactly.
little just for to translate for our fans. Well, I'm going to raise a glass to Carole Baskin. We are so appreciative you would come here, and we appreciate your candor, and we wish you all the best. Again, you never know. We might show up at Big Cat Rescue for a day of volunteering. I'd be so
Oh,
Thank you.
Absolutely.
This is the word to go, yo.